Good morning. My name is Michelle Skoltedi, and today I will be discussing the smoking in public restaurants ban. I believe that smoking in public restaurants it should not be banned, and to back my opinion, I have done a kind of case study about it, and I will begin now. Smoking in public restaurants has been banned in many places, and I wanted to know how much of a difference this really made in people's lives. Smokers have less room in restaurants, whereas non-smokers have a lot of room, especially because of many big parties and such that require non-smoking rooms. And people who smoke still have the opportunities to smoke in restaurants, but could have fewer opportunities because of how many restaurants are banning smoking. People who do not smoke have more of an opportunity to walk in a restaurant and not be bothered by others who do smoke. To observe and gather information, I traveled to 5 different local restaurants in my area. Four or five ref, ref, 4 of 5 of the restaurants allowed smoking. I've used a survey to obtain information and found out how some people feel about smoking in public restaurants. The questions were broken down into 3 different sections: general information, the person's smoking background, and the person's opinion about smoking in restaurants. They were given to 30 random persons, and I gave 6 to people at each restaurant. Each person was asked to fill out the questionnaire and return them to me. I decided that my first restaurant would be Country Boy. They do allow smoking, and it's more of a family-oriented restaurant. It's not separated by walls or anything. Most of the people seem to be satisfied with the service there. And some people looked kind of relieved from all of the smoke in the restaurant when they were leaving. The next restaurant was Mario's Italian restaurant, and it was more orientated for non-smokers. The non-smoking room was about 16 by 18 foot, and the smoking room was tiny. By the bar, it was about 6 by 8 foot, so it was pretty small. There was 2 women and a man, and they were pretty close to me, and I asked if they had ever been to the restaurant before and why they didn't just sit in the smoking section. The man said that he would have liked to sit there, but they had a larger party of 12 and there was children, so they just ended up sitting in the non-smoking section and came over to have a cigarette. The Crew was also another restaurant that I visited, and it's kind of like Country Boys, but a little smaller. And smoking was allowed on the left side to the midsection. These people didn't really care for the smoke there, as I observed. Another restaurant that I observed was Old Country Buffet, and they do not allow smoking in their restaurant. The air is much more rich there, and the people in the restaurant seem to be very pleased with the service. And Marinelli's was my final choice. The environment and wait staff were awesome. The only downfall for non-smokers, in my opinion, was that a bar was close to the entrance and they could be bothered by the smoke. But other than that, it seemed that there was almost about an even amount of people who smoked and did not smoke in this restaurant. The middle section was non-smoking, and I noticed a man that came over to the bar to smoke from the middle section of the non-smoking area. It seemed to be convenient for him that the bar was so close, and he really appreciated that. There were more males than females that did the survey. 8 of 17 smokers were of the age group of 18 to 25. 25 of 30 people took the survey, and they smoked or currently did smoke. 23% of the people's parents did not smoke. 40% of the people surveyed said that their experience in a restaurant that allowed smoking was excellent. On the survey, I asked if there was a history of health problems. 17 people said yes. 16% of the people surveyed said that their experience in a restaurant that allowed smoking didn't really affect them all that much if they didn't smoke. And only 6% of the persons surveyed said that their experience in a restaurant that allowed smoking was horrible. So that is a pretty significant amount in my opinion. 13% said that their service was bad, and 23% said that their experience was great. 25 of 30 people had been in a restaurant that allowed smoking within the past 3 months. The other 5 that allowed smoking, the other 5 were in a restaurant that allowed smoking within 4 to 6 months prior to the survey. 19 of 30 people, when asked if all restaurants should ban smoking, said no. 11 of 30 people said yes. And all public restaurants should ban smoking. So as you can see, there was a much more significant number of people who didn't really support smoking not being possible for people who did smoke. I also had asked if they thought that there was any rights violated for people who are smoking, and 20 of 30 felt that it was the people's right to smoke if they chose to, and it was the person who doesn't smoke's right to choose not to go to that place or not to be serviced there if they didn't like it. And there are still many places that allow smoking in our area. Some of them are and will be banning smoking in the years ahead. And I am starting to wonder if smoking is so harmful to others that they can ban smoking in the restaurants. Why don't they ban alcohol in restaurants? The result that came from the survey showed that some people, a majority of them, didn't mind the smoke in restaurants. And in conclusion, I would like for you to ask any questions that you have. I do feel that smoking in public restaurants should be available for those who do that. And just like alcohol in a bar is legal for people who are able to do that. So if they choose to do it, they should be able to do it. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.